Sean Payton has said from the beginning that the Denver Broncos quarterback competition would work itself out organically. The first step was to whittle it down to two players. That has now happened. Zach Wilson is officially out of the running to be the starter. He's still in the running to be the quarterback too, but at this point, he has not gotten snaps in over a week with the ones. Today, the Broncos held a more formal scrimmage practice, and he did not get snaps with the ones today either. So we can officially reach the conclusion, even if the Broncos won't outright admit it, Zach Wilson is out of the running to be the starting quarterback for the Broncos. So it is now down to Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham. The next step in this equation is to see which quarterback of those two begins to separate themselves from the other. And to this point, it looks like we're starting to see that separation come from Bo Nix. As I mentioned earlier, the Broncos held a scrimmage-style practice today on day 10 of training camp, and they had two move-the-ball periods with scripted downs and distances, a red zone period, and then a scripted 2-minute drill at the end of the game. And in pretty much each of those periods, Bo Nix was the one who outshined Jarrett Stidham. Bo Nix worked with the twos during the first period, Jarrett Stidham worked with the ones, and then it alternated for the next two periods. Jarrett Stidham with the twos and Bo Nix with the ones. Zach Wilson exclusively worked with the threes today. And then in the final period, Jarrett Stidham got to finish it off in that 2-minute drill with the ones. Bo Nix with the twos. And during this period, pretty much each and every single time, we saw Bo Nix outshine Jarrett Stidham. In the first period, for example, Bo Nix found Dorsett on a crosser with a sit option versus zone coverage. It was a perfect decision and perfect throw. He evaded pressure, although it was helped with an offensive hold. That was called back, but he still found Adam Troutman for a nice completion on the sideline, although I didn't count it in my charting because of that hold. The next play, it was 3rd down and 9, a scripted 3rd down and 9, and he threw a perfectly timed dig route to David Sills, like beautiful to move the chains. Then, that same period, I thought that Jarrett Stidham, he was also really solid. He had some good throws to little Jordan Humphrey and Josh Reynolds. Also efficiently moved the ball, but Bo Nix, it just looked like a cleaner, more crisp operation all the way around. The next series, Bo got the opportunity with the ones, and he was able to do a good job avoiding pressure, and he hit Cortland Sutton on a drag route and a perfect throw on a deep crossing route to Greg Dulcich, but it was dropped and nearly picked by PJ Locke. He then had a perfect throw to to Marvin Mims on a stick route. It was a good rebound and a good decision because on the previous play, he had probably his worst play of the day. It was a rollout right. He didn't see a wide open Burton underneath. He tries to go to Marvin Mims on the intermediate side of the field, and he throws it well behind him. Just a really ugly, inaccurate miss. It was a bad decision. Easily Bo Nix's worst play of the day. But overall, he was able to rebound off of it with that next throw. Good stuff. Good stuff overall from Bo Nix on that pretty much entire practice, aside from that play. Jarrett Stidham, also solid in that second period, but he had, much like Bo Nix, his best and his worst play during that period. He first had a horrible throw into double coverage. It was behind Brandon Johnson. It was nearly picked by Cody Barton. It was not a good play at all from Jarrett Stidham, but he also rebounded with a perfect go ball to Troy Franklin, but again, the receiver could not come through for him because Franklin dropped it. But Stidham did his job on that play. It was absolutely perfect. The red zone period, Bo Nix was able to be the only quarterback who led his offense to a scoring drive. He capped it off with a gorgeous throw on the run to Cortland Sutton to the pylon for the touchdown. Jarrett Stidham, he was kind of wrecked during his drive in the red zone was kind of wrecked by holding calls, so he didn't really get a chance to get a fair look, so I'm not going to hold that one against him too much. And then in the final period, it was that scripted 2-minute drill. They were down by a touchdown with 53 seconds left to go. Sacks and penalties backed Jarrett Stidham and the first team offense to a 4th and 18. Stiddy made a perfect throw on a deep post to Marvin Mims to convert the first down, but on the next play, he was unable to hit Josh Reynolds in the end zone. Time expired, and the Broncos, quote-unquote, lost that game. Then Bo Nix got a crack at it, and he was able to move the ball downfield, but he had a couple of drops that ruined the drive. Perfect throws on the run to both Little Jordan Humphrey and Nate Atkins. Both of them were dropped. It was a bad day for drops, but seeing the quarterbacks making good decisions and being accurate with their throws, I'm going to grade that as positive plays for the quarterbacks and negative plays for the receivers. On the day, it really looked like Bo Nix looked more comfortable out there. He had more splash plays, and even if you want to say it was an even Steven day, I've said from the beginning, if it's even Steven between Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham, you go with the higher upside player, you go with the first round pick, you go with the guy who has the best chance to break this quarterback drought for the Denver Broncos. And to this point, Bo Nix is fitting the bill perfectly, and all roads have always led to Bo Nix. The question was just when would the road eventually get there, and it looks like it's going to get there sooner rather than later, Broncos country. All right, guys, let me know. Do you think that Bo Nix is going to be the starter for the first preseason game at Indianapolis, or do you think that Sean Payton is going to give it to Jarrett Stidham? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.